The September 17th, 2025, 6 p.m. meeting of the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission is called to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
States of America,
and to
and
the
the
republic
republic
for which
it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty
and justice for all.
For all. As you were. The roll call, I don't know, we go through reading the names and every time, I don't know if we need to do that, if we can't just look on the screen and see who's here. But I'll read the list this time. But Matt Gifford, we just heard his voice. So, Lori Jones.
Here.
Alan Kibbe, present. Chris McDonald.
Present.
Jeff Mangles.
Present.
Mike Matthews. Not here as yet. Dr. Pinto.
present.
Don Remsen.
Present.
And Chris White. So those are Chris and Mike are missing at the moment. So we will proceed with our meeting. Amelia, is there anyone for public participation?
If anybody would like to participate for public comment, please use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of your screen. And just a reminder to state your name, address, and the agenda item that you are talking about. We have one hand here, and let's see. All right, Linnell, you should be able to speak.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Linnell Jones and my address is 10 Point Road. My comments relate to minutes and the agenda item to review Chapter 3 of the Norwalk Harbor Management Plan. Also, today I responded to an email alleging I have attacked commission members. If it wasn't shared with you, ask Amelia for a copy. Following your approval of 108 Water Street last month, does this mean that this commission no longer supports a marine commercial district? Given your approval for residences at 108 Water Street, which was represented as a right of the landowner, how can you now not approve residences or a hotel on Manresa Island? Will you require a life cycle cost analysis for anything planned for Manresa, a sensitive coastal flood zone? Why start with Chapter 3 of the Norwalk Harbor Management Plan? Does this mean no change to acknowledgements, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, or any other chapter? According to the current Harbor Management Plan, Chapter 1, Section 10, the Harbor Management Commission, through its regularly scheduled and special meetings, provides a continuing forum to hear the concerns, questions, and thoughts of city residents, waterfront property owners, water-dependent facility operators, and others concerning the Norwalk Harbor, Waterfront, and Harbor Management Plan. In Chapter 2, under Goal 8, Planning and Regulation of Waterfront Use, Section 8.5 states, recognize that the harbor waterfront has a limited carrying capacity to support use and development, and that this capacity is subject to change over time. Avoid new or expanded uses and development on the waterfront that exceed the carrying capacity of the natural and man-made environment to support such uses and development. Section 8.6 reads, carefully evaluate the potential impacts on coastal resources and public water access opportunities associated with proposals for waterfront use and development. And one of my favorites, Section 8.7 is very clear. Ensure that all work and structures on, in, or contiguous to the harbor are properly authorized by the appropriate city, state, and or federal authority. In addition, the maintenance of the health, safety, and welfare of those who use the harbor and waterfront are included in many of the Harbor Management Plan's goals outlined in Chapter 2. The public's right to know about the out-of-sight high voltage lines and what an exclusion zone means is about public health, safety, and welfare. Thank you for making sure the public dock gets signage about these lines and exclusion zones as per the current Harbor Management Plan. The state-approved Municipal Coastal Area Management Program, POCD, and other state and federal regulations are why the Harbor Management Plan is so important. They are all connected and designed to protect the harbor as well as public health, safety, and welfare. Thank you.
Thank you, Linnell. Your comments will be considered. Amelia, any other public comments?
I see no other hands, but if you would like to participate in public comment, please use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of your screen. I think that's it for tonight.
Thank you, Amelia. Next item is acceptance of minutes. Lori, do you want to run this?
Yep.
Thank you.
So you've all seen the draft minutes of August 27th meeting. Dr. Pinto had a few small edits, which are highlighted in red and which we will be voting on now. So Amelia is scrolling down. So inserted, commissioners agreed that, inserted the word that, the proposal improved site conditions, sorry. And then under Shellfish Commission, he clarified that it was Norm Bloom of Cops Oyster LLC and owner of the oyster beds. And Harbor Master, he clarified that Harbor Master Lavallo had been reappointed as Harbor Master for the city of Norwalk. And that's it. So a couple great clarifications. So is there a motion to approve the minutes with those amendments?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. The minutes of August 27th are passed.
All right. We'll move on to our application review section of the meeting. Dr. Pinto.
Thank you very much, Alan. I'm going to recuse myself from on this application because of a member being a member of the East Norwalk Boat Club. And I think we have one other member, I think, who will make a claim that will not be able to involve himself in this particular application as well. I think that's Mr. Mengels.
That is correct. I have to recuse myself.
Myself too, Dr. Pinto.
I'm sorry?
Myself as well.
That's
Matt?
Matt
Yeah.
Gifford.
Oh, Matt. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it. Okay.
Sorry about that.
So we will, I guess we will, Amelia, how do we do this? Do we sign off or do we just not make any comment?
No
You can-
audio, no video.
Yep, you can stay on, you just can't comment on it.
No mute, no video.
Okay.
Can someone introduce what the issue is and then you can recuse yourself from the discussion of it? Or do you want, I can guess. I have the letter. I'm not, that was the illegal email that I sent trying to clarify what this was about. So
I think that's fair. So Dr. Pinto, if you want to just give the summary of what it's about, and then you can recuse yourself. You are muted, Dr. Pinto.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Mhm.
This application was before the commission several times, dating back as far as 2021. And the application involves remediation of the 84 Seaview Avenue, as well as inclusion of docks on that premises around 80 Water Street, as well as 80 Seaview Avenue. That includes addition of voting on the outside perimeter that's juxtaposed to the Anchorage, South Anchorage, the federal Anchorage, I should say, and also an inclusion of a segment of that dock that infringes on the riparian rights of City of Norwalk revolving First Street. So
we commented on this application 5 years ago. And that letter stands. There was 2 versions that got sent around. That's all the history of our actions. For those of you who weren't on the commission, I could go over. But at this point, we received a letter from Deep stating that they were ready to, and I'm trying to find the letter in my inbox, and here it is, 80 Seaview. That they're prepared to issue a permit for that.
That's correct. It's a tentative.
So I don't know what our action is at this point. I don't know why it's in front of our commission.
Did you read the letter, Chris?
Right. It's
There are some changes. Again, I don't have the previous version of this. I just have the current license that came with the with this letter, and I think some things have changed in it. For example, there are berthing restrictions about no vessel being on the northern side of the northernmost finger, which I don't know if I saw there before. And also there's a conditional approval of the section of the dock that incurs into the city's riparian right of way there. It says that if Norwalk approves some other activity for that area, that the applicant will immediately remove the 16-foot section of dock. And I don't believe that was in the original document.
Can I ask you
Lori?
a question? Yeah. We reviewed this a long time ago. Does anybody have any drawings or project description?
I sent that around earlier this week, and I can pull those up again as well.
Okay,
But-
I did not receive that.
But you know, what we got did not include any modification to their plan.
Okay,
I mean,
I
not their
didn't receive
physical
any
plan,
drawings.
right? There might be some. So I didn't know I was going to have to be presenting and running this part of the meeting.
Chris, can you pull up the drawings?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to find the letter that we public notice letter. Why isn't it opening? All right, let's see what I can do here. I can find the previous ones fairly quickly. Documents, Chris. Somebody else can find the letter from Deep that got sent to us. I can find the ones from meetings. It's 2021, right? It was 4 years ago, right? Am I right in saying that?
The letter is August 2025 that we're
No, but when we reviewed this and we wrote
Yes.
our letters in 2021. So we-
October of 2021, October and November 27th and October 2nd.
84 CV, okay. Yeah, okay. Let me view data. Where's share? Okay, are you seeing this?
Yes. We were seeing
Yeah.
things.
So this is primarily what we're looking at here. This is the proposed, where's existing? Oh, this is existing. So here's the deck. There's a little stub of a dock here where the ramp is, and then it extends 16 feet past their littoral rights, and there's a float there. And then there was also they were also talking about work on this stone and timber wall to the north. And then, so here's the proposed. They've changed the view here. But what they wanted to do was add 2 fingers here so that they could dock boats straight in instead of parallel to their existing dock for transient slips. And part
Right,
of
now
this
that-
issue was, and I found another document showing, let's see if I can find that. Right. I'm not sure where this came from. This is some from Landtech. This is their consultant. And this is how I think this is supposed to be the federal channel. Federal anchorage lines of the federal anchorage. So it's not a channel anymore. The channel ends further back where the anchorage starts. Just for everybody's information. So there's not a channel there. The channel ends at the beginning of the anchorage, and all the area between here up to the boat clubs and around to the city dock is all the federal anchorage. So this is how much room they have beyond these two fingers to the federal anchorage. You have 22 and a half feet. The issue with something like that is they can say we're only going to put 22-foot boats in there, but then you have no control over that. And also down here, you only have 3 feet off the back.
Chris, doesn't that distance to the federal anchorage have to do with the stern of the boat or the bow of the boat that's on the dock, or at least the finger where the finger ends, not from the, vertical piece on this drawing? It would go from the end of the finger, right? And they're only 5 feet.
Right. So yeah, so I was making the point, like if you had a 24-foot boat, so there would, yeah, but it's also you can't station a vessel in the federal anchorage without, I believe.
Excuse me, Chris?
Yes.
The drawing I'm looking at, which is the one that came with the current drawing that came with this last proposal, is quite different from this. There are notes on here that say a sign down at the southern end where those two vessels are located. It says sign. It's shown and it's called out transient slip vessel not to exceed 17 feet. As the sign there.
Okay. When is that document? When and where did we get that document? I just went back and correlated our response letter to my, I keep submittals from most of the meetings I attend. So
yeah, this is the August 20th, 2025 package. Just a few days, really a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And it's quite different in terms of the signage that's been provided there.
I'm gonna stop share. Do you want to share it, or do you want me to? I'm assuming that's
not so good at that. It also shows a larger vessel there at the end than you have. Just the number of notes. Just looking at the drawing from what I'm looking at and what you have shown, there's not a lot. I can see if I can get there. Got to get that open.
Did we review this at the last? Did I miss August or miss July? I missed one of them. Did we discuss this at the last meeting? We didn't discuss it at the last meeting.
I don't believe so, but I did notice that the this drawing is different from what I recall from last time around there, and it looks to me like some of our notes have been kind of accommodated in this version.
Does Amelia have it to share?
I mean, was this material that was uploaded to the website?
It was not on our agenda. I mean, the topic was, but there were no drawings attached to the agenda.
Yeah,
we usually have to go to the city website to get those, right?
Right. There was a package of drawings that was that I received.
The city website is anything that goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Since this is a deep application, it's not on the city website. We don't create a web page for it.
All right. So was it sent to you and not distributed to us, Alan?
I don't know that. I don't know. I received this whole package from John, actually from Dr.
John,
Pinto.
If I can intervene in this very quickly.
Yeah, with the two our two letters.
I sent you the application that was sent to us from Sue Jacobson, which is the tentative approval for acceptance. That is what we should be looking at.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to.
I sent you that a week ago.
Okay. Let me go back and look.
It's that original document that was sent by Sue Jacobson, indicating that the commission does have the right to review that in the public comment period up to September 25th.
Let's see if I can get it here.
I got a public notice. On the 13th.
Chris, I can email this to you right now if you'd want. I have it here in my file. It's
I,
entitled Public Notice number
Right.
2021. All right, that was sent to you in that email.
Right. Okay. I've got. The,
I may be almost there, John. Let me just see if.
so this is.
See here.
So here's the. I didn't scroll down far enough. Okay, so this is. Are you seeing this?
That's it.
Yeah. Slide this over. So. They address the issue of boats hanging into the anchorage with signage.
Correct.
They don't
And
address.
that's not really in the narrative. That's in the in their narrative with that letter as well. There's 6 pages of narrative there. There's the I just noted to John the berthing restrictions. There's quite a few requirements here. Dock use requirements. Dock facility authorized herein shall be for transient boat use and marina slip rental unless otherwise authorized in writing from the commissioner. That would be the commissioner of Deep. Berthing restrictions. No vessel shall be berthed along the northern side of the northernmost finger. That would be toward the East Norwalk Boat and Yacht Club. The distance from the northern end of the northerly finger float to the riparian line shall be approximately 9 feet, as shown in figure 4. At no time shall any berthed vessel encroach into the federal anchorage. Berthed vessel shall not exceed the length of 17 feet and 22 feet at the southern and northern ends of the dock, respectively. The signage requirements that I mentioned. Requires sanitary support for the marina patrons. There's a public access walkway here. Another condition of approval of float section is it says approximately 16 feet of the southernmost section of the authorized dock extends into the city of Norwalk's apparent riparian boundary from property at the end of 2nd Street. In the event that the city of Norwalk receives approval for activities that conflict with the licensee's use of this area, the licensee shall permanently remove this section of floats. If transient use at this dock section is discontinued, the licensee shall immediately notify the commissioner in writing and remove the 16 feet of the southernmost end of the dock. But there's 6 pages like this, so not all like that, but
Yeah.
This kind of information.
So just going back to my are those the federal channel.
Right.
And I'm just trying to get an idea of distance, like how big is the finger? And now they're saying 17. I don't know how they police that.
Boats 17 to 22 foot, depending on where they are along the dock. Apparently the channel line,
No,
the anchorage line is not exactly parallel to the their floating dock. So they're at the northern end, they can have, they've said, Deep said 22-foot boats, and at the southern end, 17 foot is the limitation there.
And how long is the finger for a 22-foot boat?
I think it's a 17-foot finger or 16-foot finger.
Yeah. Yes,
Sorry to get that.
hang on. At the southern end, they say not vessel not to at the northern end, vessel not to exceed 22 feet. And at the southern end, vessel not to exceed 17 feet.
So a quick question, the only change is they're putting signage now?
Yes.
Well, again, I don't have the old set of drawings. There's in this poem, there's a walkway through the parking lot. There's a bathroom, which is added. They've got 2 fingers. Those are the things that, again, John asked me to scan this, and that's sort of what I did. I didn't read it quite as thoroughly as I would, but I did see the minute. I just noted the items that we had noted before, I guess is what I'm saying, that we had had a problem with our calls. Was the Federal Channel Anchorage line.
And Alan, how far are they from the Federal Channel line with a 22-foot boat on that finger? And Chris, you're saying the finger is 16 feet?
Well, that was the older document.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
what
not
is,
sure
what
that's-
is this?
Hang on, let me see if I can.
We've had the Newark police have had several issues with encroachment to the adjacent property. Just 5 or 6 weeks ago. Just an FYI.
Those proposed fingers at the northern end are 3 feet by 12 feet.
Yeah.
12.
Yes.
Okay, for a 22-foot boat, that sounds small.
Not unusual. I mean, although I also made a note, I think I sent that the northernmost finger, if you look at it, it creates another place to tie up at the northern end of this dock. You see what I mean? That if there's a finger to the north of the northernmost boat, that's another temptation of a place to tie up a boat, and I don't really see the need for that northernmost finger. They've got 2 vessels there, and the 2 vessels could share a finger, and you wouldn't need the northern boundary finger at all. And in fact, the dock could be shortened by the width of that finger, which is, it will just eliminate that northern finger. That would take 3 feet off the length of the dock, and if the other finger increased to like a 20-foot length, you'd have, and perhaps were widened to 4 feet instead of 3 feet. I think it would come out ahead from our point of view, and that you have a slightly wider finger to serve 2 boats. And I will say that this is my throw some experience in where I keep my vessel. I share a 3-foot finger with a 43-foot boat across from me, and we have no trouble getting our paraphernalia up and down the finger. It's tight, but it's doable. But if it were expanded to 4 feet, there'd be no question that it would be adequate.
And how close to the Federal Channel?
It's Federal Anchorage, Lori.
I'm sorry, you're right. The channel ends, but the Federal Anchorage.
Anchorage.
And
It's,
are there rules on that?
Yes, there are. The commission has.
Correct.
Has
So
rules
I'm
on-
trying to understand, John, how
the-
close to the Federal Anchorage? I apologize. That channel.
As these slips are drawn, their outboard motors, propellers are against the line.
Right.
Okay. And don't we require 10 feet?
Yes. The answer is yes. In that particular area, because we've had that policy with regard to even
Vantage point.
Vantage point. That's correct.
Right.
And so we have a minimum setback from the Federal Anchorage, and those boats, and the way the current drawing is, doesn't fit that requirement.
Right.
And I also have an issue with them. They're being in off our street end. The promise that they're going to disassemble their entire dock over there is, I don't know.
It's the last 16 feet of the dock. If
Which is a
Norwalk,
lot to disassemble, right?
no,
No?
chainsaw in a few minutes and a pile has to come out. I mean, it's not hard to remove. But I mean, it's a big deal to have those slips gone, but the way the license is written, it does say that if Norwalk approves, or it doesn't say who approves, if another use of that area is approved for the city of Norwalk's littoral spot there, that the applicant would have to remove their 15 or 16 feet of dock. That's in what I read previously.
Alan, can I just add my 2 cents?
Sure can.
So that northern float there that's being added, we've had numerous complaints of encroachment on boats that are bow facing north, stern facing north into the adjacent property. What guarantees do we have that they're not going to put a boat on that northern float? Because that's a problem for us, because we get that call often.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing what I just said is just in my glancing at this, not that northern, on the northern end of this operation, they show 2 fingers with 2 boats. As you can see, I don't see, and you can see it in the drawing we have on our screen too. Oh, there's the we have the right. Oh, there, good. The northern finger really doesn't serve any purpose. If you take the second finger in, make it a little longer, make it a little wider, and remove that northern finger, kind of eliminates the opportunity to tie up to that dock there at all. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would tie you'd tie to the beam of the other boat that's there, and I don't think that's anybody would be is eager to do that. I don't know if you really need that northernmost finger.
Understood.
Right. It's kind of one way to solve it, I think. To solve that. Oh, I don't know where we go from here, John. When is we have a September 25th deadline to?
Yeah, that's correct, Alan. We need to make a statement with regard to either it's either consistent or inconsistent with the harbor management plan for various reasons, and we have policies that in the commission in the plan that address each one of those issues. If we want to reiterate or iterate, I should reiterate. I said our previous statements. We have a track record of meetings and discussions that we've had with the applicant and the applicant's agent with regard to some of the concerns that we have, and so it's up to the commission how they want to proceed with that.
How have we handled other places where they're like at Vantage Point? I know at the condominium just next door with the. Do they come up against the anchorage line?
No.
Or no?
No, they have to maintain a setback on that, and they keep their boats. They don't keep their boats perpendicular to the
Right.
dock. They have it horizontal.
Horizontal, yeah.
That's right.
So
And that's why the signs there have to do with the beam, I think, or the
Right.
thought has
Well,
to do with the beam.
Vantage Point dock is so close to the federal line that if you put a normal size beamy 8-10 foot beam sailboat, you're in the federal anchorage. So they're allowed to keep it to launch kayaks or paddle boards or things as such. And then I think at the northern end, they have a little bit of more
Room.
space off the dock, but the southern end is within a few feet, and no normal boat could be stationed on it without also encroaching on the federal anchorage. So I think that's the direction that's been given to them, but that just falls to the harbor master and the Marine Police to police it. So our part of our goal is not to have not to have situations where it's easy for them to cheat and making it hard for our colleagues here to enforce
that. That's correct.
So our standard practice is 10 feet off of the federal anchorage.
Well, it's not the 10 feet. It's actually, we're going by the Army Corps is at 25 foot from that distance, but we've modified that since the close proximity that we have. We have very limited real estate, so to speak, to deal with. And so in previous locations, we've allowed up to 10 feet. And that included around the vantage.
That's for structures, right, John? That's not for boat placement, right?
That was for structures, yes.
Yeah.
And then now that it certainly includes now anything attached to that structure, that's going to infringe on the federal anchorage. Because we've been called on that on several times by the Army Corps, especially when they have time, they come in for dredging.
Right. Now, I don't know if rules are stricter for a channel as opposed to the federal anchorage. Channels are for, longer movement of vessels and not, anchorages are for stationary placement of vessels, but no vessel can be placed without the permission of the.
That's correct. The Army Corps makes that judgment as we have vessels in the anchorage in the southern end, right? I guess they were in the northernmost end of the East Basin there, where we have our municipal docks that are there.
Right. Because somebody could come and drop anchor in the North Anchorage, and as long as they weren't impeding people, they're actually legally allowed to do that.
In the federal anchorage area, that's right.
Federal anchorage, north or south. I mean,
Army Corps.
There's a set of rules and restrictions about how often they have to monitor it, and with the permission of the harbor master, and a bunch of rules about them. Nobody can drop anchor and leave it there for a month unattended.
14 calendar days.
Yeah, I think.
John, does the U.S. Army Corps have to approve this layout?
No. Our recommendation is to the DEEP.
Okay.
Alan, I see a hand up in the participants. It looks like East Norwalk Boat Club. I don't know how we handle that.
John?
Well, they should have spoken before the meeting, but it's up to the chair.
Yeah, I'd allow it for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Is that doable, Amelia?
Yes, I just gave them permission to speak. I think they unmuted.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Speaking, sorry, apologies, arrived late, and our Commodore Diane Granata is having some computer issues. She wished to speak tonight regarding some of these concerns, especially with the north float and the proximity to an active dock on our south side of the docks. Again, there are two fingers being proposed. They show only two boats of minimal length, so they don't impinge on the federal. What was the correct word? Federal
anchorage.
But we understand this property's had an extensive history with violating that constantly and having boats into the federal channel or impinging on the East Norwalk Boat Club active dock there, blocking members from reaching their dock. And again, with two fingers, which we don't think is needed. Dollars to donuts, somebody's going to try to dock on the outside of the second finger on the northernmost finger. Again, potentially impinging on one of our members' ability to dock at that location. So I think we are looking to see if that can be revised to reduce that to one finger and prevent that. And I think Officer Lee has mentioned that a few times tonight. So again, Alan, you appreciate you bringing up some of our concerns.
Right, absolutely. That's why we're here.
By reviewing the map itself. And again, we have the exact same concerns regarding the north dock and the fingers they proposed. And again, boats extending into the federal causeway there.
Thank you. Any more? Is that? Amelia, do we have another hand up?
Yes, we do. Oh, it went away, but if you're the person who just had your hand raised, if you'd like to raise it again. All right, yeah, looks like we have one more. You have permission to speak, and it looks like you're unmuted, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, please state your name and your address.
Well, unfortunately, if you are trying to speak, unfortunately, we cannot hear you. So I'm not sure if maybe there's some microphone issues on the other end. And at least I can't hear them if anyone else can.
No, no one can hear him. No.
Hello.
Oh, there you
We can hear you now.
Here you are.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Apologies for late notice. My name is Gabe Denoto. I'm East Norwalk Boating and Yacht Club member for over 40 years. So I'm aware of what's going on next door. Also a boater. So I'm here really just to raise concerns, generally speaking, concerns with navigation, safety, our issues for us navigating in and out of our club slips based on the current layout and operation of that business next door. And there's multiple businesses running right now. So with traffic, even coming in this past Sunday was a bit of a challenge. People come in, they're not really on navigating. They're kind of in the middle of the causeway there. So you can imagine that compounded with these new finger floats extending out, protruding 22 plus feet, which, and a lot of times a 22 footer with an outboard in the back is going to protrude more than 22. And so we can see the challenge right now in enforcing the current rules and regs based on past history. The Marine Police have been there a number of times when we've asked them to come, and we appreciate that. So the short of it is it's another commercial use in a very congested area. As an East Norwalk housing owner myself, it's a challenge for parking. That's going to be a factor. How you can put 3 more parking spaces in that area, I think, is a factor. So basically, there's a lot of concerns here, both safety on the causeway as a boater, but also getting down to the boat club, parking, and kids crossing streets. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your taking the time to talk with us.
I have a question. What is the use of these transient spaces? Is it like pop in for dinner? I just heard that person talk about parking. Or is it for long-term, like rental spots for the summer or?
According to their drawing, I'll just speak as I'm looking right at this. The 3 slips to the north are labeled rental slips, and they have added 3 parking spaces in their parking lot to go with these slips. So I assume those are
Long-term.
boats there long term. At the southern end, they're labeled transient slips, and the rest of the slip, which is maybe a misnomer, it just to be transient tie-up, because I don't think without fingers it's really not. And the people show up for dinner having them try to dock perpendicular and tie off to the existing dock would be be a disaster, actually.
Well, that's what they do now.
What's that?
That's what they do now. They dock parallel to the shore.
Yeah.
On a busy day, they use every bit of that dock, and they double it often.
Yeah. And I've seen some monster boats in there, 30 footer plus, 14, 15 foot beam.
Yeah. There's an MTI that's 40 some odd feet that's there every weekend.
Well,
Not to beat a dead horse, but I just want to go back to how if we allow butting right up to, and as that guy said, a 22-foot boat with an outboard is even longer, right up to the federal anchorage. Do we allow that? Overlap into the federal anchorage? I thought not.
Well, you could say that the vessel LOA does not exceed 22 feet. I mean, that can make that stipulation. One question that I have, I'm not taking your thunder, Lori, but who would enforce the
I agree,
size of the
Alan. It
boats?
just,
And that's what I don't understand is who's going to police it
Well, it falls to Bruce. It's a,
Yeah, it falls on me and probably, I'm sure I'd be the first point of contact with the complaint, you know, and then it would carry on to the
Bruce,
Marine unit.
if it's in the federal anchorage, then it's Bruce's authority to.
and until
say
Bruce
whether
can
it's
get
stationary.
there, yeah, I mean, it's a safety issue. It's a policy issue. I mean, even if it, you know, even Alan, if we say 22 overall, they're still, I think, encroaching, right? I'm having trouble seeing the drawing. It looks like the engine is right up to the federal anchorage.
Yep.
And if we say we required 10-foot setback, that's not even close.
Right.
And sorry, one other concern is knowing that these are rentals for a month for the summer. Is a 12-foot dock long enough to secure a 22-foot boat certainly for a short period of time, but in storms and
yeah, I said earlier, I think that ought to be lengthened anyway. I don't know why it would be so short. You know, and I don't think the northernmost finger is absolutely is necessary. That would solve
Agree.
the
Totally agree
solve
with
the
that.
problem of the boat club has with people tying an extra unauthorized vessel up to that finger. There's no finger. There's not much to tie onto. You know, it's an issue that requires a tremendous amount of landside management.
And
I
it sounds
don't know-
like so far they're not so good on that.
Well, that's right, but you know, is it possible that there's a requirement that at weekends that there's somebody on duty, whether it's
Well, that's
a paid officer or a
Who's
police
gonna
officer
police
there?
that?
What's that?
that's
Who polices that?
Well,
yeah,
What's
that's
that?
unenforceable. That's unenforceable. Well, I think the point is that it's not a marina.
Right.
It's two restaurants.
well, again, you know, the logistics of what they do, and I think what we need to come up with is whether using the policies and the plan, whether it's consistent or not consistent with
Right.
the harbor management plan. Because we do have as I said, former letters of presentation that we did, and we can iterate or we can embellish or modify those critique as we would like, and it's up to the commission to make that decision.
Well, I
Before
think so. The application as it stands, I think the things we found that are wrong with it are the northernmost finger, even though they say they're not going to use it, is just an enticement for somebody to use it, and that it's not necessary for what they propose, which is to have 2 additional boats stationed at the north end.
But we need to use the policies and the plan, Chris, to address those issues. And, you know, we certainly do with regard to encroachment. And we have also the encroachment on the federal anchorage as well. And then also the need to keep our street ends available for
Right.
So
So I think our objection is the way it's proposed, it will invite violation of these things, even if their signage says otherwise.
Yeah, it's too tight. Their window is so tight to
Violating
have
now,
just
right?
22-foot boat up to 20, which even that encroaches.
Right,
They're
because
violating
they're
already,
currently the
right?
motor comes up in the back, and it's going to be a length overall is nobody says their length overall is their boat with the motor, tilted up.
Right.
But if they're violating already the way that it is, once you build something else, it's only going to be worse.
I agree, Don.
Correct.
So I think we should just stick to what our guidelines we've been using, which is the 10 feet off the anchorage, and send it like that. I mean,
And I would add no encroachment on city-owned street ends.
Right.
So encroachment on federal anchorage, encroachment on street ends.
I
For
agree.
those-
I think that what happens is that we have a document that's going to go in a file folder somewhere, and 5 years from now, no one will remember that there's an agreement that they'll remove 15 feet of dock if we ask.
Exactly, Alan.
Nobody's going to know that's when we're all doing something else.
And yeah, and then try to get, if they're new owners, have them take apart that dock. I think it's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
With a party that maybe has proven not so trustworthy.
Well, there's already a boat on the end of the dock there and on the street end now. There's a center console.
Yeah, they've used that space for many years. Yeah.
So is that so that dock, it has been in existence, the one that's currently there, and is that an encroachment of our street ends right now?
Yes.
Correct.
Should that be removed?
Well, these are some of the issues that we would need to address in the harbor management plan, Lori, with regard to you having a private business use public facility for financial gain. So there's certainly something that we need to perhaps address in the plan.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. Well, we objected to that 4 years ago.
yes.
And we were told that, well, it was allowed under the original permit was approved.
Well, I will make a motion that this proposal is inconsistent with the harbor management plan because of encroachments on the federal anchorage and city-owned street ends.
Yeah. For the reasons stated in the letters of, the letters of November 27th, 2021 and October 2nd, 2021.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
This is a commission vote.
Right. I
Matt?
can't see. Oh, Matt's, that's right. Okay, yeah, it's just us.
So is it us four?
That's
Yeah.
recused.
Yeah, sorry, you've got
Yes.
3 abstains on this.
Right.
I have an abstain.
Yep.
I abstain.
Three recusals, not abstentions. Three
Recuse.
recusals and
Sorry.
4 yays. 0 nays. Okay.
All right, well, I'll work on the commission's comments and we'll get a letter out before the 25th. And I believe, now Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, is the East Norwalk Boat Club going to force a public hearing on that?
There is talk of getting signatures and having a public hearing, correct?
And then you'll be the intervening, you'll be the intervening factor on that East Norwalk Boat Club.
I may have to abstain from doing anything.
No,
Recuse myself.
no, you're not doing it through the commission. You're doing it through the East Norwalk Boat Club.
Oh, from the East Norwalk Boating and Yacht Club. Correct. I could do that, or the Commodore can.
All right, well, that concludes our application review.
Wow.
All right. I think that is it. Let's see. Yeah. There are certainly other applications in the wing, but we're gonna have to wait till we receive those. We're still pending on ones at Cove Marina that are still pending, so we haven't heard anything yet from them, but there are a couple that are certainly forthcoming, so we'll have to wait.
Okay, does that, so that concludes the
That concludes, yeah.
application review.
And I understand,
Sounds good to me.
I understand too that as there's a stewardship permit, I think, that's coming through from Enrisa that the DEP has requested that we look at, I guess, based on our charge to review that type of environmental remediation that's going on there. I don't know. I think
Okay.
that'll be forthcoming.
Okay. Before I do my report, I need to take a quick break. So we'll be back in a minute and a half.
Chris, thank you very much for handling that.
And not a problem. I saw the letter from Deep and then didn't scroll down to see the whole. I didn't get past the public notice part.
Oh.
That's why I was so confused about the second newer application.
That's why I think in lieu of, and I think we discussed this during the last meeting, that and the commissioner certainly agreed in the last meeting that we would have a separate session with the application review, so we don't take as much time at the formal meeting to discuss some of the issues.
Sorry about that. Everybody can who's recused can come back to the meeting. So time for the chair's report. I'll try to be, since we're running long, I'll be as brief as I can. The first item is I hope we're all using our City of Norwalk email addresses that we've all received and that they're all working properly. Is that the case?
Yes.
Matt, I know you had some trouble, but you're okay.
Yeah, just getting the meeting invite. That was I got seemingly everything else last week, but that was just it.
Okay, very good. The real benefit of this to us is that we don't, when it comes to freedom of information requests, the city can supply our emails to whomever they feel necessary. So it saves us some time of plucking that all out. We all received a procurement and contract compliance letter from Darren Callahan and the legal department. This has to concern with getting a contract agreed upon with our commission consultant. To do that, I've asked Darren and Sharon, or one or both of them, to attend a special meeting of the commission. It would be just executive session, so it would just be the commissioners. We don't.
Well, Alan, if I may, I saw the letter that Darren had sent around, and he mentioned that one aspect of the procurement was to request a bid waiver from the city's purchasing agent and the city's common council pursuant to that section they talked about, which was 2302, the guidelines. And I spoke with him to try to get some clarification. And what he was looking for is more of a point person. In other words, it could be one person. I'd like to volunteer and work with him on putting some words together as far as the needs that we would have for application review and the type of consultant work that we're going to require and moving forward. So
yeah, I think that's fine. I think I'd like to have.
It's not that he is the one that's going to be put that together, not us.
Yeah, the letter asks for a point person.
Yeah, the letter asks
for contact.
Asks for a point person. The commission would have to vote on that. I'd like to have Darren explain to us exactly what all this means. Darren and Sharon, actually.
Well, as I said, I could do that. I said, what we do is they have a boilerplate procurement document that has to be just worked on and adjusted to what perhaps our needs would be, and we move forward. That we bring that back to the commission for review. That's basically what I would do.
Right.
Doesn't that already exist in the RFP that was put together?
Well, there's
there's other issues, Lori, that need to be brought up that Darren had spoke to me about certain waivers that can be made based on bonding, that an individual consultant, doesn't need the type of information that the city originally required. And so we just have to adapt that.
well, there's so looking at this, I reviewed the document today that they sent around, the procurement guidelines.
Right.
And this is in section 3. There are three ways you can procure professional services.
Right.
A competitive sealed request for proposal, which I believe is what you folks did in the spring. An informal competitive request for proposal where you meaning we would prepare a scope of work, directly solicit for this, and I'm assuming, I'm making some assumptions here. One is that, and I looked at what Jeff has billed over the last 6 years, and he averages
$25,000 is the maximum that of the procurement.
That's the maximum you can procure with this method, and his average is he's never done more than 23,940, and the average is 17,002.
That's correct.
260. So we're in the two that would be allowable in the $5,000 to $25,000, assuming that's an annual expenditure.
That's correct.
They talk about like you can't break something up to make it smaller. That means you can't if you want to, but I think annually, annually, I don't know if that means we can only do a year-by-year contract. If we could do, so those are some questions for procurement.
I'm not sure if it's a year-by-year contract, but that's one thing I didn't question him about. But I think it's for certainly for the year. There's no question.
Right. I think it would be a year agreement that could be renewable for X number of years. That would probably be optimal so that we don't have to redo a process every year. And then the third way is single source procurement, and that's what will require the waiver.
Yes. So
that would be just going to Jeff Stedman or somebody else and saying, and there's in this document there's, and I'm sure they can explain better the series of things we would have to explain as to why a person would, one given person would be why would we do it sole source, why they would have a unique and special experience with Norwalk and our plan that would make that justify a single I want to use the right term, single source procurement.
Yeah, well, the person who is, again, he's had 30 years experience, basically, since 1998, as far as the internal workings of Norwalk and internal workings of harbor management. So, so certainly would love to put together a document in support of that and work with Darren directly. As I said, I have no problem with that. Anything that we come up with will be brought to the commission in the next meeting.
So, I would like to have a meeting so that the people who sent this letter have a chance to explain this to us so that everyone understands.
Okay.
Before we appoint a point person.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you for if you send your availability for the week of October 6th when you could meet to me and to Amelia. We'll see if we can find a time. And they've volunteered to Amelia, Darren and Sharon in purchasing go through this with us so we understand exactly what's going on from their lips rather than what we were making as assumptions. I spent a good hour with Darren on the phone over the last today and the last week about this. So if you would send me those, the times are available, week of the October 6th.
Okay.
I will get something set up, and it's just for commissioners. It's not for the rest of the crowd. It's just for the seven commissioners. So we'll get that set up. Something that we've talked about a lot over the years is having an onboarding package for new commissioners, because I felt it was kind of like floundering around in the kiddie pool for a couple of years here without really knowing what all the resources were. So Lori has really taken this on, lifted up a pretty good sort of onboarding package that has all the websites that are related to us, all the documents that everyone should be aware of, the legal framework for the commission, what all the resources there are. So she's got a very, I think, a good draft for that. So we're going to circulate that amongst all the commissioners and for comment and in addition, the objective is to keep it simple, less than 200 pages certainly, so that it's something that's easily referenced and a helpful guide to someone who's joining the commission new, so they know what all the what our committees are and what our the legal background, behind the commission, what the commission plan is, and all those things. So
And not
Lori
to
will be
scare you off, it's way
forwarding
less
that
than
to
200
us.
pages. I think it's 6 or
You-
7.
I was just gonna hold
Yeah,
my.
and one of those pages
Five.
is
Five.
glossary of terms. It's
I thought we were-
very straightforward.
It's
So-
it's a really tight document, but it's a great reference point, I think, for somebody new.
Here, the North Harbor Commission novel.
Lori, were you able to tackle all the deep, the various types of things you review? Because that was one of the hardest things to get my head around. And I actually had experience with deep to some degree before this, because there's a lot of different types. The difference between a COP and a 440 and a structural dredging and fill and
Well, 440 is Army Corps.
Is that I thought that was like not the 440, the one about the 40. The 4 foot or 40 foot long. There's like
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fine. We're going to circulate a draft, and
Chris,
then you can.
I'm sure there will
comment.
be edits to this. I did cover COP, CAM. I covered the 3 types of motions that we do make. It's consistent, it's inconsistent, there's no objection.
Good.
But this is a draft, so I'm sure you'll have thoughts and
Fair enough.
Well, it'd be good to have a consultant on board who's an expert in this that could provide edits as well. But it's great that you did a lot of the legwork. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. I appreciate I want to underscore something. I really appreciated Jeff's letter last month when I was out of pocket for the meeting. About reading what our obligations are as commissioners. We certainly have statutory responsibilities, but beyond that, I wanted to add that those responsibilities don't necessarily take all of our time. So if any of the commissioners have projects, things that interest them, things that they feel the commission should take on or could take on for the benefit of the citizens of Norwalk, please speak up, make those ideas known and come to me, ask for an agenda time to just sort of chat about what your idea is, what you think something else we should be doing, because I think it's very important. The plan is a document that doesn't change except every 5-10 years, whereas there are things that come from the city that we could react to quickly and make a contribution.
Well, we've done, yes, Al, I agree with you. We've done that in the past. As far as I know, for example, you talked about how the Boy Scouts get together and clean up the islands. And, we've also put together our own little packages of things to do with regard to monitoring water quality, in the harbor. That's not necessarily listed in the plan, but it does cover it. Some of the policies in the plan cover that as far as maintaining water quality, or for that matter, maintaining the islands, and what to do. So those policies in the plan do cover some of the necessary extraneous things, the outside things that the commission would.
Once again, I'm just asking you, just feel free to express ideas of things we should be working on, or things that you've noticed when you're boating around the harbor that really could use our attention. One thing that has happened is that the industrial use of our harbor has greatly diminished over the years, and there needs to be activity in our harbor to justify dredging and all the rest of it. So it's important that we have an active harbor, and we're the people that can come up with new ideas and thoughts and share them.
Well, and in all fairness, we don't need, as I said, the commercial to justify dredging. the justification for the dredging based on industrial harbor is to allow the Army Corps to come in, and we're never going to get Army Corps, as I say, unless we pay for that ourselves. Basically, that's what the bottom line is now. I mean, we can institute our own dredging that's required, but it's going to be on our dime. It's because we're
Again, I talked with the Army Corps, and they didn't indicate that they did not have funds to do that.
No. Well, that was made
So-
very plain to us that we're off the Federal Navigation Project. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't come in some way and do dredging, or we hire somebody to dredge on our own and take care of that material. But the point is that it's going to be on our dime, whether it's be the city's dime or the state of Connecticut somehow through the through the Connecticut Port Authority funding that we usually get. And we did get dredging funds for that around the visitor stock, and we can still continue to get that with the proper application.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One other thing, if everyone understands, and mostly for Don, I guess, that the application review committee is a subset of the harbor management committee, and we've sort of consolidated ourselves into one meeting. But the reality is that the way it should work is that the application review committee should get the drawings and documents we have to review as soon as they're available, and be able to study them before a meeting. And those people are Dr. Pinto, who's the chair, Matt Gifford, and Chris McDonald. I am a ex officio to the application review committee as the commission chair, to be a tiebreaker. In the event there's a tie, I get to decide which is which. But that's how that committee is operating now. And typically, the application review committee would bring their recommendation to the full commission, and the commission would vote to pass it. And so, as it is now, the application review committee should be most informed about the applications that come in, and we all sit through the presentation, and then we vote all at once.
Yeah, we discussed that last meeting, Alan, in your absence, and that we certainly agreed that we would hold a session. The application review committee would hold a session prior to the regular meeting to avoid, again, just that one aspect that we went through tonight. With the longevity, to save the commission time, and just have all the ducks lined up, and then present one coherent package to the commission during the meeting.
That's something we can discuss. That there.
Yes, is attempted meeting 1 week before the commission or 2 weeks before, and we used to do it a week before, and this is during the prior to the COVID 2019, where we had to do everything by Zoom. So we're just going back to the same procedure that we had 6 years ago.
Right.
Who would the applicants give their presentation to?
We had, just like we had before, they would come to City Hall, and we would meet in person, or we can meet by Zoom, same way.
Well, my point is, would they meet only with us, or would they meet with us meaning?
Well, we can
they can meet with us,
review
and the full commission, or would we?
If it's on Zoom, there would probably be no difference in them. But I certainly would like to meet with the applicant prior to them coming to the meeting. And if we feel as though that they need to come to the meeting, and if they would like to come to the meeting, they're certainly more than welcome to do that. But we would present their application to the commission.
That's John.
The option of attending.
There's some freedom of information, public information hurdles with some of that, and the cost of doing it. So we can talk more about that. But
the meeting is going to be televised. It's going to be mentioned, and as part of and public is well aware of, and if their attendance, they can attend. But like I said,
the expense would be Telesco doing minutes.
Yeah, though then it's going to be an added expense.
Yes. There's people at City Hall that have to run the meeting, so we have to have a little more discussion about that before we just say we're doing it. But I like the old way too, the way we used to do it. So, but we don't need to discuss that now. But just something that really for Don's reference, I wanted to mention. So, moving along, any questions for me?
I do, Al. I know a few months ago we talked about dredging, and Dr. Pinto mentioned it was a busy time of the year for deep or whatever.
No,
Are we still looking, or Army Corps, whoever? Are we still looking to move forward with looking into that, or I haven't heard nothing else on it?
We need to justify certainly our needs in certain areas of the anchorage that would may require dredging. Once we put all that information together, that's going to be on us to do that. You know, we can request the Army Corps to come by and do that, which they do on a periodic basis. But
I mean, we could, Don, if you're interested in doing that, you could be the point man for that too. Be careful.
Well, I think the last time we talked, I think it was mentioned me and Lori would assist Dr. Pinto with it, and just trying to follow up on, are we still looking to go that route, or what are we looking to do?
My opinion is we should look at everything we can possibly look at, and I really appreciate Don and Lori getting the ball rolling on that.
Yeah, the process is going to take years.
Right.
So the sooner you start, the better.
So I think the confusion on it, and Don, you're right. I tried to put together a committee to address it. I think that, Alan, I'm going to put this in your, I think there needs to be a point person on that. And at the last meeting, Dr. Pinto and Jeff Stedman talked about how they were working on it. That you, John, I think you guys mentioned that you had spoken with your contact there, and so it's confusing who's doing what, and that's why I think Alan.
Well, just getting.
I've actually, I'm not interested. You know, I had tried to get it rolling, but it sounded like you and Jeff were on it, so I backed off.
Jeff and I can certainly pick up the ball because I was chair of the dredging committee. You know, during the three dredging phases that we had in Norwalk, and then came on board when Dave Donovan was the chair of the dredging committee back when they first started the Corps from reviewing some of the areas that required dredging. So we can still go ahead with that. I did talk because I know Coral, who is at the Army Corps, and that's what their charge is in doing and helping us do, is to justify the depths in various areas. So I can certainly do that and continue that, with Dom. Don would do that. It's certainly it is involved, but like I said, we know the people that can get things moving along.
I am more than happy to step off that project and I think it's up to Alan to assign you, John, or whoever wants to do it, and so that there's clear direction on moving forward.
Like I said, I have no problem. If Don would, the two of us, we could work together. I can certainly, give you a heads up on what needs to be done, along with working along with us and getting this thing expedited.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea for at least some other people, more of a succession planning kind of thing. Because if you got all this knowledge, it'd be nice to share it with some of us. So, whenever somebody's ready to step down, at least people aren't blindsided and kind of know what you did to get to where it is. You know what I mean?
That's certainly will, as long as God willing, I can still.
No, but you know what? I just, being on other boards and stuff, we like to share a lot of the info. So if something happens, somebody's there to kind of help and pick up the pieces. And I'm willing to help you and learn a little bit and pick your brain on it.
All right. Well, let's go. That's no problem. We can start and get the right contacts in motion. Yeah.
Good.
Right.
Don, let me talk with you offline, and we'll get started with that, because I think that'd be, particularly with your background and all the state and everything, it's perfect. So
right. So when we first talked about this, we looked up the eHydro, which was the Army Corps of Engineers depth survey from the March of 2023. So quite recent information. Even this is what it looks like. And I've embellished it a little to make this the number field here look more readable. But so these are the depths with a little bit of what we were talking about before. Here's Vantage Point, here's Harbor Lights and all their nonsense here. For the white is this, I think this area is it scheduled to 4 feet or 6 feet? I forget what the scheduled depth is.
I'm sorry, Chris, where is that?
This is the North Anchorage.
Oh,
this
okay.
isn't, This is off of Vets Park, and you can see how the dock is in the federal anchorage. So I think it's scheduled to 6 feet. The red is what's below 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet, and then I highlighted yellow what's 4 to 5 feet. There's a shoal area here, which anybody who boated over here with a sailboat has told you that they found on the way out. This is all in the mooring field area here, opposite. This is Norm Bloom's dock, and then there's a similar one for the South Anchorage. The federal channels up here, that's scheduled to 12 feet. The red is what's below, which is started to shoal below the thing, and the highlighted parts here are what they've highlighted for extra low spots. This 9 foot 7.
Thanks, Chris. We really don't need to get into a analysis.
Well,
of
this is
just
if
yet,
ever, people need this to start with something. So
Right, yeah, we could
you're right. I don't need to go any further, but that exists, so I can share that again.
We have all the records from previous years as well, Chris. You know, the depths that the Army Corps had shared with us during that process of the 3 phases that we went through to get dredged in the different locations. So
right, but this is the recent information that we have to base any justification on.
Right, that's right.
And
Right,
then
Chris,
even newer stuff. So that's as today.
Right, Chris, you sent out that link, which I look at it. You know,
Yeah, the link is really interesting, and I don't know if it's been updated since 2023. Probably not.
Right.
But,
Chris, are those chopsticks?
yeah, sorry, I fiddle when I.
I thought it was a new drafting tool.
I fiddle when I'm talking and listening. These ones have a special rubber band at the top so the kids can use them. Our sushi place gives these.
I thought it was a compass. You know.
Yeah, no, it could be like it could be it would be a limited compass, but yes.
Okay.
For those of us who drafted
that's
in
the
the
end,
old days.
and we really need to move along here.
Yep.
That's the end of me. Yep. Harbor Masters report, Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pretty slow month for me. The boat's been serviced and bottom's been painted, so that's all back in order. I still haven't purchased any batteries yet. I want to try to get to that next week or two. Let's see, a couple phone calls of complaints about I had complaints from some mooring holders in the East Channel because they were told, they had to take their dinghies off the dinghy dock by the 15th, and they're kind of upset that there wasn't any other plan in to put a temporary spot for them. But I did talk to Ken Hughes, and the people that called me, I told them they were allowed to put their dinghy at the Vets Park for 50 cents a foot. So it's a 10-footer for $5 a day. So the city is allowing anyone to tie up at the ramp.
So I have a few things to say about that. A couple of years ago, we went through it deep, and we have supposed to have been allowed mooring users or transient mooring users dinghy access to the dock, and it was meant to be labeled. We promised deep we were going to do that because that was part of the stipulation of our getting grant money like 10 years ago.
Well, hold on, but we did.
But it's not there. They're now charging dinghy users $55 a day, and there's nothing signed there for dinghy usage.
No, well, so are we talking about transient?
Well, we're now displaced mooring holders who need a place to keep our dinghies. And I'll also note that the city gave us about 10 days notice to remove it, and never put up any notice.
I asked them about that, and they said letters went out in the spring. So I don't.
No. In March, they said a tentative date of September 15th. Tentative is not definitive. So 10 days ahead of that, they sent out an email. They never put any notice up down at the dock. I think it was pretty poorly handled in terms of notifying people. So there was 10 days notice of the actual date, the permanent date, not the tentative date. And then they never put any notice up down at the dock.
Okay. I'll relay that message.
Where is your, does this have to do with the dock on the east side as well?
Yeah, that's where.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what you're talking about.
There's probably 10, 12 dinghy users that use their
Behind the-
dinghies to access their moorings there, as well as the, couple dozen people who have their boats on the dock itself.
Okay.
But it,
So my dinghy's out of the water now.
Do you think the commission needs to take any action, or have
Well,
you?
the city
talked to-
also, the city also, well, they're charging people $5 a day to use a dock where they're meant to have dinghy dockage for free. And the second one is, if we want to, the removal's a done deal, but they did in the initial contact with us say that they would prorate a refund because we've paid our fee through November 1st or whatever our usage date is, and we lost, we lost a third of the season.
So this is under control now?
Third or a quarter of the season. So
I mean, so it's being taken care of?
No, they've told us nothing about a refund.
Okay. Oh,
refunding everybody who was on the dock. That was stated in the when they said they were going to shorten the season.
This recreation and parks, Chris?
Yes.
Have they taken those docks down yet?
2 days ago was the day they asked us to get it all off. I looked it up. The contract has been awarded to Terry Marine. So, I was going to raise hell if they didn't even have the contract awarded yet, because then they're just evicting us for the sake of evicting us, or hurry up and wait. But if, I understand if all this helps get the project finished in time so that we can use the dock at the beginning of the season next year, then, that's the inconvenience we have to have. So the contract's awarded to Terry Marine, so they should get in there and start demoing to get this done, so that we're not inconveniencing everybody 2 seasons.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks, Chris.
And then a couple weeks ago, I tagged some mooring holders that we didn't receive any payment. They have now paid, and I just sent out 4 notices the other day. It's the 3rd notice. I have a couple mooring holders that haven't paid, so they got the letter that their mooring is subject to be pulled at the end of the season if they don't pay within. I gave them 72 hours, so I'm still waiting on that. That's about it.
Any questions for Bruce? Anybody? Thank you, my friend. Very well. I'd say very well managed this summer, by the way. Very good job you've done for us.
Thank you. We're
Appreciate that.
We're getting there. We're getting there slowly and surely.
Okay. Apparently Jeff is not with us tonight.
Yeah, he apologizes due to the change in our meeting schedule from as you're supposed to meet on the 4th Wednesday, we're meeting now on the 3rd Wednesday.
Oh.
He had a commitment in Greenwich with the Greenwich Harbor Management Commission, and they're working out. As a matter of fact, they're dealing with the same aspects that we are eventually going to be dealing with, and that is the issue that the judge had made with regard to the Cohen case back in 2021, around there. So they're still having an issue with that.
Why was this meeting moved?
Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
So he apologized. So I will.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I'll mention some of the things that we talked about during the commission to him.
Mooring and harbor safety, Mr. Mangles.
Yep, don't have much to say. Transients are still coming in. Have a couple coming in. One's coming in on 24th, another one's coming in Friday. So we have that going on. I expected a little bit more, only because of the boat show, which is kicking off this weekend. But so far, nothing. Well, normal traffic, I should say. And had a visitor who said that they love going out on Sheffield. It's absolutely fantastic. As far as safety, there was nothing, no safety concerns. It's without Bruce's help and without the Marine unit's help, you know, Sergeant Pasigli and Officer Lee and Nelson, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So I appreciate all the help and of course our mooring inspector Norm Edwards, he's absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm actually going out with him tomorrow to check stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
I think the tremendous benefit for the economic benefit for the city comes from this, from people coming to our harbor and having a nice stay and particularly people who go ashore and you know, partake of what East Norwalk and Washington Street have to offer. I think it's a good PR for the community.
Yeah, we have
as well.
lots
So
of
thank you all
repeat,
for working hard
lots
on
and lots of
getting that done.
repeat
Yeah.
people
Well,
coming
you
in.
should think about
Well,
more moorings
lots in the-
next year.
That's in the works. That's in the works.
Yeah, that's in the works. Talking about dredging, hurry up and
Let's
dredge
get the
deeper
dredging going.
water. Dredge
Yeah.
deeper water. That's what we need.
That's what we need for sure.
Is that it, Jeff?
That's
Questions
it. That's all I have.
Questions for Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for all you do.
Sure.
Chris, finance.
No updates. No financial updates. Sorry.
We still have money, right?
We have money. Please expend what you requested. Especially we have everything we've put in the budget. We have money for. So, yeah, use it before the city takes it back.
Thank you. Questions for Chris?
Yeah. Just one anecdotal note. 108 Water Street, they've gotten the eviction notices there. The marine businesses at 108 Water Street have gotten the eviction notice for the end of the year. Spinnaker's moving in.
Quickly. It's really disappointing. That's another discussion for, I guess, for another day, but the, you know, it's, no, I won't comment right now. I'll wait for another time. It's hard when you don't have marine businesses that are anxious to move into that kind of a space anymore. You know, that's the part of it doesn't help us.
What's sad is that there was a fellow that had a business on 108 and he had, you know, he saw the writing on the wall and now he's working out of a van.
Yeah.
You know, it's rough.
There were tenants that just don't pay as well as condos and offices.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's
it'll be a shame if there's no longer a dock builder between New York and Bridgeport. Because GNC Marine might, you know, they're being evicted.
That's up to the commission to then come up with some sort of, and again, in our harbor management plan that, you know, what are we going to do to preserve our marine commercial district in Norwalk? That was an issue going back in the 1980s with regard to that area, and the DEP decided that they were going to sue the city of Norwalk as a result of the change in the venue that they had to maintain the marine commercial district. And so fortunately, that was held steadfast until builders started coming in and waving that little carrot in front of people's faces. If you sell the property, you can get much more money from rentals than from storing docks. You know, so.
Right. So what's allowed in marine commercial use has been significantly changed, and we've witnessed the first wave of that. So whether actual marine construction, marine industrial uses, I'll say, because that's not a thing in the code. I'm using that as a term to describe the businesses that are being forced out of Norwalk, the marine industrial stuff. The marine, you know, having a dock and a place for somebody to look at the water is marine commercial according to planning and zoning and DEEP. So that's another story. There's very few places left to preserve that. One place that is possible that the city will have a say on is the space between the bridges that the walk bridges is currently using. And the city will have first right of refusal when the DOT is done using that space. DOT is condemned, is eminent domain that space. It's in the DOT's ownership. And the city will have first right of refusal on that. And, you know, I think in order for the city to maintain marine industrial space, the city may have to may have to take ownership of it and be a landlord for that kind of activity, or else it will go away. And then the whole marine commercial ecosystem will be altered, because none of that dirty work that nobody wants to look at, doesn't want in front of their condo, that won't be here anymore, and there won't be anywhere on the coast that does it. And it will be more expensive for everybody to do boating.
Well, that's what Stanford is experiencing right now when they scuttle their entire marine commercial district. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And that's I suppose there's also an opportunity to kind of recruit other businesses to come up. There's only so many West Marines around, things like that. The difficulty on the east side of the west side of the harbor is that the federal channel is so close to the shore. There's not a lot of in the water space there for much of anything. It makes it kind of difficult.
There are businesses that are just being evicted.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think, Alan, you'd mentioned, our responsibility of the city and the issues with 108. I think, I was going to bring this up as well, because those areas that Chris was just mentioning, it's the last of the last.
Yep.
And I think if we are not standing up for the city in terms of not just the short term, but the long term gains and options, we're going to put ourselves right back in the Eversource situation where we're trying to look behind us. And I think we need to get out ahead of that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that we have to get ahead of that. I think it would be helpful to find out, to find some marine developer with deep pockets that would take something like that over, because it would really help the community as well to have somebody with deep pockets, like some of the big marina operators and all, come to Norwalk. I think, much as I hate big developers, but the marina developers, somebody that has the money to do something nice for Norwalk, and it would be, it'd be terrific to have that here.
Well, but they're not going to rent it. They're not going to rent to a guy with a barge or a guy doing blasting at the bottom of boats. And the only deep pockets we got around here are the McCords. And I made a personal appeal to them at one of their open houses that maybe we should try to preserve some marine commercial on Manresa. But, I don't think there's much of a chance of doing that. I mean, even for docking of commercial boats. I mean, where's the oyster fleet going to go?
No, I agree with you. But I think it's something that we should all be thinking about, and again, maybe schedule time for open discussion about ideas or action items we could undertake to get something started, because I think it's, the city's not going to do that unless we put our resources together, mighty as they are, and reach out a little bit to people in the industry to see what's possible. The property owners aren't going to want to do that. They're going to want more money than I think that a boatyard is going to bring in. But there's also there's some deeper pockets in the marine industry as well. You saw that huge thing that was built in Bridgeport in front of the where the Mexican place is. There's a
Steel Point.
Yeah,
Oka?
huge
We have enough marinas here. The marinas slips are not the problem. It's the people who do the work on the boats that are disappearing.
Yeah, right. Can we stay on the agenda?
Yeah, sure. We have the strategic harbor meeting in a couple days. That's actually a venue we should bring these issues to.
Okay. Plans and recommendations, Lori?
Okay, so chapter 3. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at it?
Lori, the one that you originally sent to us, that was all marked up. Was that the one that you had sent to us? It was all crossed out, and
it's the one on the city website.
Or the one that Amelia rather, the one that Amelia sent around is the current one that's on the website, isn't it?
The latest one that Amelia sent, which is a Word doc.
Right.
Initially, you guys got a PDF. So then she followed up with a Word doc.
Right.
That should have been a cleaned up version that I received from Jeff Stedman.
Right.
That he, after you know, what was ever approved by the Common Council. This was a subsequent version of that.
Right.
Changes that he and Tony had made.
He and Tony Mobilia had made and
But
presented.
it shouldn't have been marked up, John.
Oh, the one that I received was marked up. It was all underlined and crossed out.
Oh, did everybody have that experience?
I did not. Mine was not marked up.
All right, maybe I looked at.
Well,
Amelia?
it sounds like the difference between having track changes on or off.
But
Could be.
And if you don't know what track changes
Oh,
are,
I
then
don't
this is
know. I saw
that. Yeah,
But
I don't
that shouldn't
know.
be on a,
No
That's
problem.
weird.
No problem. But clearly,
Yeah, I don't know, John. I don't
no,
know what you got.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly agree that, changes have got to be made to chapter 3 and incorporated to make it somewhat consistent also with what's going on in the state. As I know, based on what we talked about previously, that how we review applications based on the state's, our authority given us by the state of Connecticut to review applications from the DEP, and the statement that has been made with regard to, again, the policy being that any recommendation made by the commission is binding by the DEP unless they show cause otherwise. But we're trying to get that wording changed and adopted and to be consistent with what all the other commissions have, because we want to maintain consistency throughout the state, that sort of one voice, so to speak. And that's what the Harbor Management Association has been doing. And so some of these points need to be incorporated into chapter 3 as well, along with comments that we already made with regarding maintaining somewhat the Marine Commercial District. So there's certainly a lot of embellishments that need to be done in this current document right now before we move forward with it.
Absolutely. And that's the reason that we started with chapter 3, is because that really holds the meat of the plan, all the policies that this commission is responsible for. We are, in our bylaws, it says we should be having an annual review of the harbor management plan. The last amendments were done almost 20 years ago. I don't know if there's been an annual review since then.
2009 was the.
Okay, so that's 19 years ago. So or I thought it was 2006. You're right, 2009. So 15 years, whatever the math is on that, 16 years ago. Anyway, it's time to take a look at it. There are small changes that'll be easy, like, DEP to DEEP. But as John mentioned, there's bigger policy issues that we need to address, like the authority of the Harbor Management Commission, coastal resiliency, which has grown in importance since 2009. As we just talked about, development in the zones. And so anyway, I was just tonight trying to gather any sort of big thoughts that people had, reactions when they read it, any stuff that stood out, and go from there. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to edit as an entire commission, but Marine Commercial Zone, that's what I was basing on.
I gave you my edits a year ago, and I held it forever because I read it 3 times and it busted my head every time I tried to do it.
Right.
Trying to, and what I was trying to do was, are there any of these policies that are more important or less important or more whatever? They were trying to make some way to categorize all these policies, and I could not really do that. I could not, say these are, there's a little bit of redundancy. Sometimes things are repeated in more than one place, but and honestly, with my other thought on this is that with the Cohen versus Greenwich thing, where basically we can't comment on anything unless it's a policy in our plan. Cutting it and reducing it really serves no purpose. We may as well throw everything and the kitchen sink in there just in case it's something we want to make, we want to review at some point.
That's the point, Chris. That's the point. That's got to be. Now, Greenwich and Fairfield have in their plan, and New London is in the current phase of getting their plan approved, and they put in the exact same wording that the DEP has requested that they do, which has been refuted by that court decision. And so this is what we're trying to come to grips with right now is
Okay.
to try to remediate that. So I have taken, well, from the Connecticut Harbor Management Association's point of view, met with the chairs of Greenwich, Stamford, Fairfield, and New London, and now Norwich wants to get involved in discussing what type of wording, and I'm going to be meeting with Brian Thompson to discuss that type of wording. And I think that once we get that all figured out, that all the commissions are on the same page, that we then incorporate that would be incorporated part of our plan as well. So there's certainly a lot of tweaking that needs to go on to be consistent. And then the other thing that, again, Jeff pointed out to me too, which was kind of interesting, is that there are other phases of Harbor Management Commission aspects that are going on in the other facilities that could be useful as far as Norwalk is concerned. So sharing certainly the information as far as what goes on in municipal harbors is certainly very important. And he does have his finger on the pulse of that, which we certainly appreciate his interest in maintaining, again, our leadership role, so to speak. And I think we do have that as far as the state is concerned with regard to our harbor management plan. Most of the time that many of the other municipalities use us as a guidelines, except maybe perhaps Milford. But
does anybody else have thoughts on or responses to reading through chapter 3? Anything that stood out?
Who's that?
I'm just asking anybody else. I've heard from you and Chris. Okay.
It's a very dense read.
Right.
And the language, and the language is kind of archaic.
I know we've had in the past, if we work closely with Jeff right now, I mean, I know we need to solidify our consultant certainly, but he has authored, again, the harbor management plan in Norwalk. He's authored the harbor management plan in Greenwich and other municipalities, and has tweaked those municipal plans based on the needs of the city. And I think we can certainly take advantage of some of his expertise. You put the words down on paper, and then the commission, reviews what those words are and whether we yay or nay that, and we need to have that approved by the state and then approved by the city. That's the moving forward with the whole process.
So I do think there's tremendous efficiency, Dr. Pinto, with Jeff working and you working with other harbor commissions, because we're all struggling with.
Oh, there's no question about it. And, and things are changing constantly with regard to some of the mandates that the DEP is putting on us, and also the Army Corps, as well as features of our own harbor that need to be reviewed. Again, such as maintaining commercial marine district needs that we need to have in certain areas. Yeah.
Okay, well, if nobody else has any other comments, I think it makes sense I'll make a motion to hire a consultant to really dig into this project.
Well, you have a consultant already.
Correct. But once he's brought up to, he's got to become whatever with this city. So obviously Jeff makes the most sense.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But again, these things, John, they have to, it can't just be sort of just spending money. It has to have a beginning and an end, and a deliverable and all that, and a rate with all that. So that's what needs to get hammered out.
We're not in any foot race right now. So once we get our consultant and everything solidified and in place according to Hoyle with the city, then we move forward again. And again, perhaps if Jeff does decide that he wants to stay with our commission, that he would be the ideal person to expedite and believe me, to expedite this whole process, because he knows where the where the language needs to be tweaked, perhaps brought before the commission for review, and save us a lot of time and effort in doing that. So
okay.
Yeah, no matter who does that work. I think that we as a commission we have a fiduciary responsibility to the city and to ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so we need an outline of the project, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, when, start date, end date, all of that, just like everybody else.
Well,
the deliverables,
it's just like everybody. Yeah, it's just like everybody else does. When I do work, they want to know when it's going to be done, how much it's going to cost.
So do I have a second to that motion?
I'm sorry, go with the motion again, Laurie. I'm sorry.
Hire a consultant to help us update the harbor management plan, which was last updated 16 years ago.
Well, okay, as I said, I feel very strongly to expedite matters, and that is we already have a consultant who is well-versed in the whole process. I understand what you're saying, but we're in a catch-22 situation
But-
here, Laurie.
So
John,
I
you know,
can't
the point
say
is that-
hire Jeff though,
I know
John,
that. I
and
know.
for the
No,
city.
so-
If I could, I would, but I'm
No,
saying hire a consultant. I'm making that motion.
can I rephrase that for a suggestion
Sure.
rephrasing?
Absolutely.
That in our solicitation of
A
and
consultant.
the contract we are pursuing with the harbor management consultant, that we include this task. It will go to whoever we hire through whatever process we decide to hire them.
Yes, I'll go along with that.
I'd second that as well.
Yes,
Yeah. That this particular task be included in that contract.
that's correct. That's correct.
We just I think a little differently, is it, you know, if you lump that in with a bunch of tasks, and how do you know how much each task costs? I mean,
That's
Oh,
but that's how any personal services contract
I look at
works.
a project
You have tasks and
like this, and you should have there's just task is going to cost us, rather than being kind of an open-ended
Well,
kind of
let me
situation.
put it this way, Alan, you know, he's worked on this harbor management plan for well over, close to 30 years. And his consultant fee has never exceeded anywhere from $20,000. So the cost is certainly is well worth the effort of pursuing that somewhere. Yeah.
well, every personal services contract includes tasks and deliverables. That's
Right.
that's the point everybody's just made.
And I have no problem including that as part of a task, as one of the tasks, whether it's going to cost us or not. In all fairness, as far as I'm concerned, the time that would take to complete that particular task is going to be nowhere near of the type of one starting from scratch. Let me put it that way, starting from ground zero, to have to read that document and then come up with a proposal for us. So I don't know. It's
So
so
we have a motion.
Lori, is it? Do you accept that amendment, Lori?
Chris, I think you made the motion, and I just want to say one more thing. Sorry. Oh, the motion's been made, right? Chris, you
Right.
made it.
And
Matt, was that a second?
Correct.
One thing I would like to say, just as a comment before we vote, is I think the job should include talking to constituents who use the plan to make sure that the plan is meeting the needs of the coastal engineers and the lawyers. And, you know, I did some talking with them before I took a look at the plan. I think it would benefit Jeff to, you know, just make sure he's in touch with, to make the plan as useful as it can be.
And Lori, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that was going to be one of the requests that I had as part of this solicitation or, scope. But also, can we put that that person with a task to reach out to existing marine use based companies, individuals in the harbor, see what their pros and cons and their concerns are. And I can give you the list of, just a handful as an example, or maybe some of the people that have been so to speak, evicted from 108, to understand what their challenges are, so that we can fill those needs with these other properties or with harbor management plan or everything in general, so that we can kind of bring back any of those areas that we feel like we're losing.
I think that's so smart, Matt. Literally let get the feedback from the people who these policies affect.
Directly, yeah. I think that's. I
Absolutely.
think it's just one other aspect of this that we can't kind of look away from. Yes, the management plan is critical. It's part of the overall harbor, and I think it used correctly, it'll be an asset. If kind of left to the side and not used properly, it's really going to have no use.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and a second.
It's-
Any other comments?
Matt, do you want to incorporate that any part of that in the motion? That along.
I'd be fine. I seconded the motion. Chris was the one who made the motion.
Okay, yeah.
I think we can define the task later. I think
I agree.
the point is just to include the task in the new
Having
solicitation.
to craft the outline of what the
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, the
description is.
deliverables can include, not to exceed, et cetera, et cetera. Just have some scope of work items. I think that's a good idea, because especially in, with the recent issues that we've had at 108, I think it's a great learning point.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you for that, and we'll put something together. That's the end of my report.
Thanks, Laurie. Appreciate all your work on this.
I'm sorry, Lori, will it come under your committee
Newsletter and web.
for, we were talking about,
I think I think it does come under plans and recs.
endorsement of the city marina that we had. We talked about that last, I sent the letter for the
What now?
rename city marina. You
Oh,
wanted
that's
to-
not, no, that doesn't come under plans and recs. I think that came from you.
Okay. Because we,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Does that come under plans and recs? Sure. It's the renaming of the
naming,
marina. Plans and recs, or do we have new business? Whatever.
Recreation and Parks, isn't it?
No, plans and recommendations does
Oh, and our,
the
sorry.
topic of renaming.
Yeah, okay. Any more? Newsletter, website, we don't really have a person here that's working with that. And water quality until we have a new mayor. This mayor is not going to reappoint someone to be in charge of the water quality committee. And I have not had, I was going to look up the statutory requirements of that and if we have to have it and, you know, all that, but I haven't had a chance to get to that. So if everybody's satisfied, can I have a motion?
Make the motion to adjourn.
well,
Second.
just again,
Second.
going back, I thought we were going to vote on whether the commission would agree to support the letter that was submitted on Tony's behalf. That was sent around actually 2 meetings ago. And then held off to this meeting because we didn't have a quorum last month.
Well, we did have a quorum.
Not last month.
Yes, we did.
We did.
We
Okay.
couldn't have a meeting without a quorum.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. But it was suggested, Lori, that we hold off on coming any comment until we got a full commission membership attending.
So I'm just going to make one suggestion. Generally, in our agenda, we don't have a place for old business and new business.
Well,
Is a standard thing, which is where this would be old business because it was brought up and tabled. So if this is old business, we have, you're within your rights to bring it up.
well, whatever it is, again,
Yeah.
submitted a letter for consideration by the commission to see whether you wanted to go forward with that of renaming the new marina after Tony Mobilia. I sent the letter around supporting, and as I said, if you need further other letters to support that as well, we can certainly solicit that from the standpoint of naming that marina on behalf of Tony Mobilia.
I didn't see a letter, John.
I'm sorry.
Was it sent by email or?
It was sent by the I think Lori sent. Well, I sent it to Lori and you didn't.
Yeah, not to me. It went to Amelia, John. So yeah, it's never been under plans and recs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then Amelia sent it around.
I don't think I've seen it.
Mm,
So,
It was
um,
sent before the August meeting, Alan. It was sent, yeah.
I don't recall seeing it.
Amelia, do you have a copy of that, or do you want me to send it to again, and we could submit it for next month?
I'm looking through my sent email right now, but if you have it handy and you want to send it again, I can redistribute it, or I'll find the previous email and I can resend that as well.
Okay.
And my recommendation would be to put this topic on the agenda.
Right.
So we make sure we get to it.
Well, that's what I thought it was going to be when we mentioned in the minutes last month. What? Or the month,
was Amelia, was that sent on the I'm assuming the city
Sent on a
email?
city email address on August 20th, 2:57. If you need
August 20th?
whatever.
August
I would
August 20th.
resend the letter to Amelia via the city's website.
Yep.
City.
It was on the city website. The letter is entitled East Basin Marina Nomination. The subject of the email was HMC 82725 meeting.
Yep. I have it.
So we should all
I
have
got it also, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's just because it said HMC 82725 meeting, I think that's what kind of screwed everybody up with it.
Right.
Well, how should
Yeah,
it?
the subject said that, yeah.
Well, it was to the Harbor Management Commission. It's a letter.
For consideration at that meeting.
Well, it's everyone's pleasure. Do you want me to resubmit that or?
I think we.
Well, let's resubmit it, and well, it's not my call, but let's resubmit it. We all have it, so let's just go ahead and put it on the agenda
Put it on the
for
agenda.
next
On
next
the
month.
agenda next meeting.
All right, fair
Yep.
enough.
Under old business.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's pretty common to have an old business and new business
Correct.
agenda point so that people can make motions.
Yeah, and Amelia, that could be attached to the meeting package as well, that letter, for next month.
Yep, I'll add it as an agenda item and attach it to the agenda packet.
Okay, all right.
Fantastic.
Because that
Absolutely.
works very well. Okay, do we have a second?
I made the motion to
Oh, to adjourn?
adjourn.
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah, we need a second.
I'll second that.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Second.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you
care,
all.
everybody.
Appreciate all your time.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Amelia.
Chris, Ken, how's your son doing by some chance? You know, he had a.
Oh no, my son's fine. Thanks. I think last month was. Oh yeah, no, that was the doctor's. Yeah, that was a regular checkup thing. That wasn't important.